All right. Okay, so welcome to Monday's session. We're starting a little bit earlier today, just because I wanted to get optimization and setup of everything done before the 9:30 open. So a little bit earlier than normally that we will be on. Okay, so for those familiar with the DTB system, you've got an incredible bunch of tools that can be used to help make trading decisions. There's a lot of indicators and automated strategies, one of which we're going to be just using on this call, and they're all included in a one subscription format. And not only the tools, but there's a lot of educational content around the tools to help you understand how to use them effectively. So visit the website, subscribe. It's only at the moment $21 a week, which is extremely low for the value you are getting. Not to mention the different live sessions that we have and the support that I give my members. Great. So the risk disclosures for futures. So have a look through that. There's also going to be a link in the video. So important to understand that. So have a good look through that. Now I'm going to go straight to the VPS. And I was doing optimizations earlier on a few different instruments. So just going through a few different instruments. And this is the optimization I did on the NQ. And I was looking back on the chart and I noticed that there was a data gap. So, you know, NinjaTrader will never tell you that there's data missing in your chart. Okay. So even here is a 5-minute chart on the NQ on my side. I've got, you know, if I look at this, let me just increase the size of this. The properties of this chart. So we can see it a bit better. Now, it might not happen to you. It might not happen often to you, but unfortunately it does happen. And that's also why a lot of people are getting very different results on the analyzer and stuff, because there could be data missing on the chart that makes the indicator plot from different values and kind of throws things off some of the time. Well, most of the time, actually. So let me just stop my video so I can show this chart fully. Okay, so as an example over here, if I look at the 1st of October, which would have been a Friday. So the end of Friday, the market closed, and then so closed at 5 p.m. And then on the 3rd of October, it's opened again. But my data starts from 7:45, not 6 p.m. So all the data between 6 p.m. and 7:45 is missing on this chart. And that's what's happened. It's also plotted the indicator plotting the Fibonacci level from that. Now, if I compare that to the MNQ chart, which is exactly, I've done the exact same data. I'll just increase the size of this too. So properties, and make this also a 16. Okay, so looking at this data, and I've got, there's the exact same time. So 6:30, you can see here's all the data on the MNQ. So there's the 10th, the 1st of October up until 5 p.m. And then I've got on here, what have I got? Have I got break at end of day? I do. Okay. So then on the 3rd of October, the price started on this bar over here. And I've got, 5 past 6 all the way up until, 6:30. So there's no data missing on here. So looking at this data, the high of the chart actually happened at 6:35 on the 3rd when the price went up to 14,835. Okay. Now on the NQ chart, because the data is different and the data there's a gap, this one picks up at 7:45 that this was the high of 1826. Okay. So instead of the high being 1835, so there's a difference there in the way the indicators are plotting their values, because there's a data gap. And, you can right click on the chart and you can go reload all historical data until you're blue in the face. It's not actually going to correct itself. I've done it a few times, so I don't know if it's, I'll do it again now and just see what happens. Okay, so it's just busy reloading the data. Let's just see if it actually refreshes. Okay, come on, it's going back again. It's loading all the indicators. Let's see. And there is the data again. So as you can see, 6:55, 7 p.m. and then jumps to 7:45. Now it's very sad though that it doesn't give you all the data back. And unfortunately, as I said, there's no tool in NinjaTrader to actually let you know that there's a data gap somewhere in the price. So the problem is now is all the data on your computer, if you're going to load tick charts, if you're going to load whatever value charts, they're all going to contain that data gap. So the only way to remove that data gap is to go and delete all your data in your file, in your documents folder, because obviously there's a corruption there with the data. Now, I'm actually going to be developing an indicator that is going to tell us if there's a data gap. So I think that's one of the indicators I've got on my list that I've realized I really have to get onto, because unfortunately NinjaTrader is not going to help us, in that sense. It's unfortunately a big flaw in the system. So we really have to build a bridge over that. Another thing I've got to do to make sure we don't have any discrepancies with data. As you can see, the data is actually very important to know where the Fibonacci levels are, because if you're loading Fibonacci levels and you're going back in time and there could be data gaps, like we saw, where there's a huge difference between the bars showing on the chart and where the price actually went, it does stuff things up. So going to the documents folder, you got to go into the NinjaTrader 8 and you got to go into your database folder. And this is where you clear out stuff. So you can go to your tick. So tick is where you can go in here and you can delete all the data in your tick. And you can delete all the data in your minute and in your day. You can delete all your data in there. So it's good to do this regularly anyway, because NinjaTrader also holds on to a lot of data. So it can actually become like a bit of a hoarder of stuff, and that can definitely slow up your system too. So I wasn't going to do this on this call, but we have to do it because, we have to make sure that the data that we're analyzing is actually accurate. So once you've done that, you can just close off your NinjaTrader. So I'm going to just exit it on the side here. I'm going to save my workspace. And then I'm going to reopen it. Okay, so reopen it. There's my analyzers and stuff. I will just look at that in a moment. I want to go back to this chart. I'm going to just see if what it has loaded now is actually fixing up that issue. So it was the 1st of October. Okay, so 1st of October, the end of the session, and then the beginning of the next session. So let's just go forward in the chart. Where are we? So you're just supposed to connect to my data feed. So I've got the data feed. I've got CQG on here on this specific system. And I just want to make sure that I've got the data going on here correctly. So I've just got 5 days of data with break at end of day on up until today. So that should definitely be okay. So just give that a moment to load. Properties, I'm just going to check something on the side here. Okay. All right, so let's go back and check if that data is actually fixed up now. There we go. Okay, so there's the 1st of the 10th October up until 5 p.m. Great. And now the 3rd of October starts, and the price now is all, there's no data gap anymore. Okay, so now the data on my system, now that's for that day. You know, I've got 5 days of data here. So let's go and check every single bar. It's, you know, I'm not going to notice any data gaps. But what I can do, however, is I can look at my indicator, my Fibonacci Levels indicator, and I can check what the level is on there. So the 61.8 is at 14,721. 61.8 is 14,721. So now we can see that the NQ data and the MNQ data, the Fibonacci level is exactly the same price. And this is on a 5-minute chart. So now that's telling me that the data between the two are actually matching up like they should. So the Fibonacci level is in the exact same place on both the NQ and the MNQ. So I know there's more than likely no issue, because it'll be strange if they both have a data gap at exactly the same spot, which I don't often see at all. But anyway, that is what that is looking like. Okay, so now that that's out the way, and I'll just minimize that. Now I've got to go run all my analyzers again, because my analyzers had those data gaps. So it was giving me inaccurate results because of those data gaps. So I'm going to go and run this one over here. So for those who are on this call, actually, I'm just going to, it should go pretty quick. We'll just see how long this one takes. We want to get done and started before 9:30. So this template, I'm going to save this template. And for those who are part of the DTB system, you can look in the group chat and you'll be able to find the template for this strategy. Okay, so I've got Tuesday. Let me just actually, before I say anything, let me just save this. And I'm going to save this as 4 October. Okay, let me just go. So it's going to be 4 October. So 4 October optimization. October Monday optimization, and I've got a 22 bar. So that's the one I'm looking at. I'm doing on this specific chart. And I've actually got true. I should have just created a new damn template to begin with, because I've got no target on here. But I'm going to just put this in the folder. So 22 volts, or optimize. And this is NQ. Okay, so save. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to copy and paste this into the Skype chat. Okay, so I'll bring it up in my documents. So exactly where I'm going to take it from now is exactly where you would save it to. So you go into your NinjaTrader 8, you go into templates, and you go into strategy, analytical bar strategy 1. So that is exactly where you will save this template once you have it. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it in there. Drag it and drop it. Unable to send. Yeah, great. Thanks. Okay, so let's try and do this like this. Unable to send. Okay, great. Let me just refresh Skype to see if that's the issue. Okay, great. So it's in there, and it's also going to be in the focused group. So for those who are on the Analytical Bar Strategy 1, you'll be able to get it from there. And I just want to actually copy this and put it into my other folder on the DTB Trader side. So give me 1 second. I'm going to put it in the general Skype chat for our group, which is not that one. This one over here. Okay, so there is your optimization in there. So it's in the DTB Traders group chat. That's where you're going to find that optimization. So the only thing I've done with this, the only different thing that I've done with these results is I've changed the bar size. So I've kept all the settings the same over here. And I've done 22, 22 on this chart from the 29th of August to the 10th of May. So it's given me a good period of time to analyze. And while we'll look at those results in a moment, but while that's going, the only thing I've done is I've changed it to an 18, 18. So it's a slightly smaller bar size, and I'm going to run that one. Okay. So while that's running, we can have a look at these results. So what this is doing now is it's giving us the analysis of the trades since the 30th of August up until today. So these are all the trades the strategy would have entered had these settings been in effect. So those are all the trades. So you can see some days fewer trades than others. We can actually go into day of week. So that's the option that we're going to be looking at on this call. So that's going to tell us on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the trades that were entered, what the net profit was, how many trades, the percentage, and all the rest of it. So we're going to, as we did last week, we're going to use the information from the strategy analyzer to apply these settings to our trading chart for the session. So looking through these, Monday, the first one, so that gave us 3,079 from 31. 3,000 from 15. We're also looking at other days in the week. And we could also look at the drawdown. So 10 trades, a much higher percentage win over there, but it's only 10 trades over the whole month on a Monday. So you might not have a lot of trades on that specific one. 426, 620. So we're just looking at a few different things. So there's a few different ways you can do this. You can either do percentage profitable, or you can look at the drawdown, or look at the profit and the rest. Okay, so for right now, I'm just going to keep this setting. This looks the best. It does have a bit of a higher drawdown, so almost 2.8. So we've got to be just a bit careful on that one, I guess, but it has shown daily to be successful. All right, so we'll look at that one for now on the 22, 22. So we're going to find basically the best setup between all these optimizations that we're doing now, and then apply them to our trading chart before the 9:30 open. And this can also be done long prior to the session. So I was actually doing this a lot earlier, and I actually had all these results ready to go. And all I was going to do is just discuss them on the call. But now I have to go and start again because there was a data issue. But what you can do, because we are only analyzing the data or the time slot between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m., okay, you can actually do this optimization much earlier in the session, or even after 10 a.m. after you finish trading for the day. So the idea behind this is only to only be optimizing a certain period of time, and in this case 1 hour, and then apply the settings that have given us the best results and use that for that hour session, and then basically be done for the day. So that is the goal with this, and what I'm trying to get going for you guys. And this is also primarily because I am not able to trade later in the US session because I'm based in Australia. So it's very hard for me to trade, obviously, later on in the session. But this type of format can be applied to any time of the day that you are working. So let's just see if this one has come up with a result. So it's taking a little bit longer than I was hoping. It's already 20:09. So I've got these optimizations in place over here. So I've got a 22-22. This one's at 18-18. I actually did a 16-16, a 12-12, and then the last one I did was a bit of a mix, was an 8-16. So that's the only thing I changed on this. What we can do for this session to speed up everything is just change the settings for the optimization so that it runs fewer results. And in that case, we can actually get less iterations, which will speed up the time, the optimization takes to complete. But I'll just let this specific one finish, and then we can look at doing that. Now, if you go and run all these optimizations at the same time, it's going to greatly destroy your performance, CPU performance, your memory, and everything. So it will just slow everything down. So it's really important to only run one optimization at a time, unless you are going to run them and then come back in 4 or 5 hours and then see all the results, because they're going to run very, very slowly if you're running them all together, which is fine to do if you are only planning on putting it for the next trading day and you've got many hours ahead of you. Okay, so that one's given us slightly different results. Now I'm going to switch over to the 16-16, but I'm going to make the repaints on this one false and false. Okay, so that's going to change. So you can see it's dropped to 1,600 iterations instead of 6,400. So just by changing some of the settings over here, it's going to give us slightly less results, but it also might not, the results might not be very favorable unless unless those are coming through as false in the optimization. So run that one, and got a few more minutes before the session starts, another 8 minutes or so. So the idea behind this too is starting even just before 9 yourself, run your optimization, have everything ready, apply the strategy onto your trading chart, and it will automatically trade between that period that you selected and automatically exit at the end of that period. So you can see it takes a lot quicker when you've got fewer results going. Let's have a quick look at this previous one that we ran. So this one here is showing us 416. Let's have a look at the analysis for the day of the week. 41 trades for 5-4, 41, 20, 5-8. I'm also looking at the days around it too, just to see what has happened the rest of the week with those specific settings. So I purposely wouldn't go choose a setting like this to run, okay? Because just because it had a big down day the next day. Now, even though you see the setting is the same, 416, it's those repaints that are different. So if you look a bit down, you'll see trade under the times, you'll see trade repaint. It'll say true, true, false, true. The one on top is saying true, 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 true. All of them are true. Okay, interesting. So we'll look at that, and let's have a look at the very next one. 10, 8, 9, 5, 1, 8. Okay, so while that's going, I'm going to make these false like this, and then run that. And then let's have a look through these results over here. So you can also decide on a few different bars. You don't have to go run multiple different bar sizes like we've done over here. You can select a specific one and just run with that. Some of these are looking good. 2, 60, the trades, percentage profitable. You can get some that are showing higher percentage profitable. Generally, the top ones are going to give you the best results. Just looking at, because it's going to obviously put it by the value. Okay, so we'll switch between that one. Let's have a look at the next one that's going 5 minutes. We might just have maybe enough time to look through that one. You can also optimize in the setting to only choose trend. So you can remove reverse. And then if you remove that box for trend and reverse, if you just remove the reverse one, it's going to halve the iterations because it's not going to optimize reverse trades. It's only going to optimize all trend trades. So something to look at too. Okay, running a little bit slow. Yes, I'm going to stop that one very quickly. Change this, take the reverse off, and then pop on that. It should only be about 800, so that should go very quickly. And I'm going to make this one also as 800. So only going to be using trend on there. Okay, that's fine. So I think what we'll do for this session here is I'll choose one of these results very quickly because we only got about 3 minutes left before the session open. So I'm going to choose one of these. This one here is showing 60 trades, 41%, 9516. It's looking good. This one's 198 trades. It's a lot more trades and 123. So between this one here, 638, 28, 198, 10. I'm going to run with this one over here. Just checking at the next days. I'm a little bit divided between these. Okay, so I'm going to select this one over here. So as soon as you've got a value that you're going to run with, you can go in over here and you can go template and you can go save. And you can actually save it over your result over there and then just call it trading chart. Okay, so trading chart, done. Okay, perfect. So 22. And I'm just looking at this at the bar sizes. So 22, 22 on a chart that must start on the 28th, 29th of August. Okay, so pull that aside. I'm going to go new chart. And it'll be NQ. So doing this on here. So NQ 1221. Now, any instrument you can use with the strategy. So definitely go and choose any instrument that you're going to work. If you're going to, whatever you're optimizing on that. But for this one, because I'm running the NQ, I'm going to use exactly what I've used on there. So if I look at my optimizer, it's telling me that the 29th of August is the day where I started the chart up until today with break at end of day on. Okay, so that is my chart. I'm using this, we're using the sim test 1 still for this day. And I'm going to go to the strategy as soon as this loads up. Come on. Literally cutting it extremely fine over here. Okay, go to my strategies, load the analytical bar strategy 1, and go template, go load, choose the trading chart 1 like that, and go to enable. So first of all, choose the account you're going to work on, enable, apply, okay, bam. So crap. just looking at that, I'm just looking at the chart at the bottom here. So you notice that the drawdown and all that looks a bit different. So that's the first thing you have to just check. That was a bit unlucky. So let me just see what could be the issue there. So what did I have different on here? Let me just quickly check through this. So trend 22, break at end of day, blah, blah, blah. You know what? NinjaTrader. You load a chart, and if you select break at end of day, you've got to go back into it and select it again, even though you selected it to begin with. So just a little thing there. And there we go. It's right. The setting is right. So I press start. Okay. So on, we just missed this one signal over here. So as you can see, that is the first signal generated by the strategy. At that point, okay, so there's our first live signal on here, and we're going to run from here. So just on this, you know, when you load up a chart, so if you go and select your bar chart, okay, and you go and put break, if you go tick the box saying break at end of day, and you go okay, you actually got to go back into the data series again afterwards and go click it again and put it on. So it doesn't automatically keep it there when you load it the first time. Okay, so while that strategy is running, I'm going to just pop that over there, and I'm going to keep looking at the optimization, because we chose a setting there, but what we can do is just have a look at the settings in the analyzer to see what results the last ones came up with that we just clicked on run on. So we ran that one, we ran that one, we ran that one. Okay, this was the next one that came up. So this one's showing 60 trades with 600, 950. Okay, perfect. That's fine. 95 with 82. 81 with 150. So probably this one is the best so far, but one of the better ones. Now, you can, when you've got your strategy active like this, if you want to be in control of your stops and your targets, just click on the button that says trailing stop over there. Okay, and then what will happen is the moment that this trade executes or completes and the next trade enters, it's going to activate that trade with the trailing stop and a target attached. So that's why I put those values in the strategy settings of the analyzer, because that's going to, you know, give you the opportunity to activate that if you need to, if you want to be in control of it. So what we're seeing here is just 100% automated. It's just entering positions based on the settings that we selected. It's going to automatically switch over signals when, you know, when the strategy says to switch over. If you've got a target, so if you put a setting in your strategy to use a daily profit target, you can put that value in over there and tick the box to use it. And once you've selected that and your profit target for the day is hit, it will actually pause the strategy and get you out of the position. The same will do with the stop. Now I don't have, I'm gonna put the Fibonacci levels on here just because they are a very good indicator to look at while you are trading. So let me just see DTB Fibonacci levels. I think did I pass them there somewhere? Yeah. Okay, so these are going to show you the different Fibonacci levels that are coming into play. So the gray one here you're seeing is the 5-minute Fibonacci level. So the price, you can see the price came down, came near the 50, went up near the 61.8, came back down, bounced off the 61.8, broke through, retested it, now is coming back down again. So these Fibonacci levels are extremely, extremely powerful, tools to work with. So definitely use them, in your trading decisions. Now we've come to the 38.2, so it's exited. Now the Fibonacci levels are not built into the strategy, just so you know, but as you can see now, you've got a trailing stop, you see? So you've got a trailing stop. So if you say, I want to make sure, I want to trail this price as an example, it's going to automatically trail depending on what you've got in your settings. But you can basically go and choose now to have a target in place. If you want to lower your stop, you can actually do that over here. So I'm just going to let the strategy make its own decisions on switching over the signals. But perhaps if I see the price struggling around different levels, I will exit and whatever. Sometimes it can be quick like that. So it did actually go quick. I've got a bit of a trailing stop type of a thing on this one. And another thing that you can do in the settings is you can choose if you only want to enter long positions or only short positions. And what that will do is it will only enter signals in long or short. I've got it on both, so it's going to enter both directions. So the price has come down to the 38.2. Okay, so it broke through the 50, retested it, came all the way to the 38.2, had a bit of a bounce off it, and is either going to struggle over here or break through. The next strong significant level is down over here, which is this blue Fibonacci level. That's the next strong one. So what you can even do is you can say, you know what, that is the very next strong Fibonacci level in place. So I can put my target over there. That's one thing you can do. Over here, you can say, I want to capture some of my gains. So if this bar goes and, breaks down, and I want to make sure that I definitely secure a return on this specific trade, you can go and put that in place. So we have the price break under the 38.2. It hasn't got direction from there yet. A little bit of indecision around there, but it's going to shoot in any direction very soon. And at least if it comes down, this is the next significant level in play. So came below the 38. It's now just been bouncing off that. So you can also look at a 5-minute chart on here, and you can see, okay, we won't look at that yet, but you can look at how far that 5-minute bar is from closing. Okay, so there it basically entered the position. It decided that this is going to be a reversal trade coming up. So this looks like a bounce off the 38.2 coming back up again. And then there's the trailing stop automatically following the price. Again, if you don't want to use the trading, if you don't want the trading stop to follow the price, you can actually click the trading stop button again. It will put the trading stop off, and then you can just leave your stop and target exactly where you want to put it. It's not going to move the trading stop. It's going to keep it in that position. So wherever you put it, it's going to stay. So you can, move your target wherever you want to in this thing. I will leave it on for now. So over here, interesting, we had the price come to the 38. It briefly stayed above the 38. It actually came below the 38. Then it broke above. Now it looks like it's come to retest that 38. We've got a brick wall over here. So we've got a brick wall and we've got a Fibonacci level. Now it's only a 5 minutes, 38.2. So it's not an extremely powerful level that, you know, the price is bouncing off. Now that hit my stop, you see, that specifically hit my stop. So now it's going to act on the next signal that's going to come in place. So sometimes it's not a good idea to trail your price very closely. Okay, like I did over there. Okay, now it's back in a sell. Okay. So it looks like it's found direction below the 38.2. Again, we just said there's a strong support over here. The next Fibonacci level is there. Now, if you're looking at the Fibonacci levels on your tools, you're going to see the Fibonacci level is the blue one. That there is your weekly Fibonacci. So it's a very, very strong level, and it's the 61.8 of the weekly Fibonacci. Okay, so very, very often the price bounces off those Fibonacci levels because it's a weekly, it's a very, very strong 61.8 level. You're going to have that. So that's why I put in the trading stop and the stops and things there that you can move it, and you know, you can make a decision around these levels and say, well, I'm going to take my target over there because this is a reasonably strong level, and you know, the price may struggle around there. Might just smash right through, but I mean, very often these levels come into play. So if you scroll back on your chart, you're going to notice that these levels are respected and used very frequently. Even price can come very close to them, like that over there. And you know, if you don't want to have any trades entering at this level, you can just click on pause. And not a single entry will enter while the strategy is on pause. And you know, I do this typically around very strong Fibonacci levels where we haven't got a direction yet, because sometimes the price could just bounce around this area for a while. Again, let me just look at this. The properties of this chart that we're looking at is a bit small, the font. So let me just increase that. 16 will be okay. And while your strategy is in pause, you can go and enter manual positions, you know, around there. But when this breaks down, I'm just going to click on start again. Now the strategy will be looking for its next signal to enter. So we haven't done too bad this session so far. The strategy has made $650 odd. So if you had a $500 target, you know, you'll be set. You'll be done already. You'll be done for the session. Again, we're only trading up until 10 a.m. So it's 9:43 at the moment. If I had left this position, just continue running, it still would have been in that sell position. So we still would have been in that sell. That was the last signal over there. It's still in a sell, even though you see some green wall, green bars over here and a brick wall, but the last signal was still a sell. So you also got to, you know, be mindful when you are deciding to take control of the strategy yourself, because, you know, price can go and break through levels. It can run. And if you're cutting your trade short, you know, you could be at a disadvantage. So like over there, you know, that was still a 78 tick trade, but the price did continue another 140 ticks, you know, and that could just mean, you know, you're hitting your target for the day of $1,000 or whatever it was. So again, you know, that Fibonacci level did come into play because the price broke through, came back, just retested it a couple of times or a few times over there, and then broke down. We're at the 23.6 level now, and that is the, again, a 5-minute Fibonacci level. So we're coming over here. See, there's a whole bunch of Fibonacci levels together over here. Very strong area of support. Again, the strategy would still be in that sell position. So, the good thing about the strategy is it does rely on those long running positions for its bread and butter. Because if you look at if I go and look at the strategy performance of this, okay, now we saw this in the strategy analyzer because that's what came up in there. Out of all the trades, it's got a 39% profitability, but as you can see, the winning trades are fewer than the losing trades. But those winning trades, when they run, you can see average winning trade $550, average losing trade $238. So they end up, and look at the largest winning trade. So you have these trades that can run for a long period of time, just like that one over there would have, and that can basically happen. So that is things to look at. Now, if you look at the strategy performance like we did over here, it's going to match your analyzer. So the analyzer that we ran for this chart, I think was this first one, right? Was it the second one, first one? I don't know. One of these. 638, 638. So the trades are going to actually match on there. So there's the percentage, 39%. So it's all matching. There's the drawdown, 2791, 2791. So that's all matching as it should. So that's how you can also compare the strategy analyzer to the chart. Obviously, like we did in the very beginning of the session, when we loaded the strategy, it told us that the results at the bottom of the chart were very different to what the strategy analyzer was giving us. So when I noticed that, as you remember, we went into the data series and just checked that one box saying break at end of day. So with tick charts, very important to use the break at end of day because it completely will use it or don't use it. But make sure that if you're not using it, don't use it in the analyzer or the chart. If you are using it, use it on the analyzer and the charts because it's going to give you different results using it or not using it, but it'll still match your performance on your chart and your strategy if you select to use it on both, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're not in another position yet. So I prematurely exited that position over there, which, I don't, I do that sometimes, even live trading, I do that because I've just seen price react around those. But, also might have been a good idea to see if price bounces off that level going up. So I could have perhaps waited for a confirmed bounce or a resistance of that. So something like we're seeing over here where the price is coming, it's struggling, it's coming down, and now it's got a confirmed upwards bar. So that to me is like a bounce off that Fibonacci level. So instead of exiting the trade over there, exiting it over here, which is a 237 tick move in price. And if you times that, so what is 237 times that by 5, that's an it's an $1,100 move in the price on that one trade. But that's it. You do exit positions. When you do, sometimes your mind takes over. So it's good to have a written plan out of what you're going to do around levels and just a good trading plan around it. But yeah, that's definitely one to consider. So if you are seeing a Fibonacci level, perhaps wait for a bar to break up. Yes, you are going to be losing 22 ticks of, of profit if you do that, but you're also going to secure a much larger move in the price, by doing that. Actually, we didn't do that. We did this. An extra 140 ticks. So here we're at these levels over here. So looking at these levels, it's a bit difficult to see what they are. And you can just look at the coloring. So you're looking at the coloring in the Fibonacci levels indicator. It's going to tell you what those levels are. Okay, so looking at that, and it's good to write these down, by the way. I still haven't done that. So I'm preaching to myself too. So we've got a daily Fibonacci. So that's the daily Fibonacci, the deep pink. It's that one over there. And you've also got the khaki, which is the monthly Fibonacci. So you can't see the value of which one it is, but you just know that that's the daily and the weekly Fibonacci all together in one section. And that's probably why we had such a strong reaction around there, a bounce off there. I mean, almost to the tick, actually to the tick, it came and touched it and bounced immediately off. So often what happens is it'll bounce off those levels. Very often it'll just bounce off, and sometimes they'll bounce it off, come back and retest it and go again, or they will, see what the resistance is around it after multiple touches and then break right through it. And then you've got to just check what's going on below that. So there's the next levels below that. So often what will happen is if a price breaks through a very significant level, okay, so if a price breaks through a very significant level, what is this thing again? What is this? Arrow, Alt and E. Okay. So very often if the price breaks through a level like this, it'll come down a bit, perhaps even come back and retest that level, take out stops, and then come back down again. Now, if you notice, there's very little below this area. So there's very little. So you can bet that if the price had to come and break below here, it's got a long way for the price to move without much stopping it. There's not really too much in this area over here, which is 790 ticks. There's not much in the way of price over here. There's no strong levels at all. So a huge, that's what these Fibonacci levels do, is give you those. And in fact, actually, you know what? That's that one there, I need to remove. We discussed this on the call earlier today. So the Fibonacci levels, the green Fibonacci 2, there's just a slight error with that one. It's the 240-minute Fibonacci 2. Okay, that's going to give us even a larger zone to work in. So that is the next. So there we've got a dark blue Fibonacci, the pink, and the khaki. So there are 3 in that zone over there: pink, khaki, and blue. So looking at the indicator again, you got the pink, khaki, and blue levels. Okay, so pink, khaki. So we've got monthly, weekly, and daily. Very, very strong Fibonacci's over there. So far, that has been the price action. And unfortunately, we're not in the sell position, which if I didn't stop it there, I would definitely have stopped it over here at this level, perhaps even over here. So, seeing the price come back down, come to a strong level, and then break up, I probably would have exited it over there, which would have been a further, 159 ticks. Coming right up now to 10 a.m. So I doubt there's going to be any more trades around this time. And, even if you are looking at your time now and you're not in a position, say, for example, you were not in a position, just pause the strategy anyway. You've got less than 5 minutes left to trade. If it does enter a position, it's going to be a very short position because it'll obviously exit at 10 a.m. Great. I'll take some. Anybody on the call, did you guys run any optimizations yourself for this specific session from 9 till 10? And what happened to your side? Or are you doing things slightly different to what I did?
I did this a lot, Jason, in terms of the 8.8 file that you initially did. So I've been running optimizations all day from last week and stuff today. I came up with two settings of 8.26 and 11.20, and it kind of went for me using the 8.8 for a little bit, but then got out of whack, so I had to pause it. So I'm not sure whether a smaller bar size or a bigger bar size is better. That's what I was going to ask you.
For this session, for the opening?
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely say a larger bar size is probably ideal for this specific period of time, which is why I went for a 22. I did go and optimize smaller values, okay, with results, but I tend to go for the larger bar sizes just because there's a lot more price action bouncing around in that time. So probably stick with the 22. I would probably stick with the 22. Somewhere between an 8, a 22, and an 18. But at the end of the day, the optimizations are supposed to give you a whole lot of different options.
Yeah. But
so,
would you be looking at basically just the day that you're doing, or would you look at the previous week or even further back? Just because I'm very conscious of how my computer handles the optimizations as well.
Yeah, I mean, like we've done over here, where we've chosen a very specific size and we've only got 1,600 iterations, it should not really clog up your PC much at all using that, especially if you only got a few results that are spitting out. Like this over here, like that's at 816. It's only coming up with 800 iterations. So your computer should be okay dealing with that. I think if it's not, just reduce it slightly and until it can, or upgrade the RAM or something.
Yeah, I think it's when you optimize all four that it really sort of like drains the PC.
Yeah, that's why you got to do one at a time. You can never do more than one optimization at a time. Were you doing more than one at a time?
No, I was just running one, but when I use a bigger date, like more than a week, it I'm using a laptop and kind of really struggles.
I see. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I'm using a VPS, okay, and I think that is a huge savior with this, and it runs extremely smoothly on this, most of the time. So if I go and look at what this thing is, how do I even check again? I think I go to Task Manager, perhaps. Yeah, Task Manager. So I'm using this this VPS over here, and it seems to be good. It's an i7 with 4 gigahertz. It's got 64 gigs of RAM, so it's pretty decent what I have to work with. And I think something like this, I mean, I'm paying $100 a month for this, $100 US. This server is based in New York. It's a dedicated server. It's not, it's not a shared server like the AWS or Amazon, whatever. Amazon is AWS, isn't it? So that does help a lot with, running your strategy. And for $100 a month, if you can consistently be successful, then you can log in with any laptop and whatever and just run your strategies on the server itself and your optimizations, everything in one. And you can even log into it from a tablet, while you're sitting at the airport. So you literally can just log into a server from any device, even a smartphone. I've often did that. And then, you're able to not have internet issues, dropout issues, or any of that crap that goes on. Okay, so here we are. So we're at 10 a.m. All right. Unfortunately, or not, I mustn't say unfortunately. We had the strategy run. It entered a few positions. So if I go to this specific strategy here, and I go strategy performance, and I go real time, it's going to tell us what it specifically did during that period that we ran it. So it entered a total of 8 positions, 37% profitable, which is not too distant from the last months of performance. So the last month of data, it basically had a 39%. So it's not too dissimilar to that. And, those were the specific trades that it entered. So it started off with a winning trade, went into a losing position, winning. And, obviously I did pause that, not pause it, but I did cut that last trade off short. So we would have been looking probably at about 16 or 1700 for the session, because it would have exited right now. So you see 10 a.m. right now. So if that was going strictly according to time, which is exactly 10 a.m., which is there, that would have been a 200, that would have been $1,000 move. So we would have basically ended on a $1,650 session for that. Okay, good. So I'm going to just keep it to that, and look how beautiful, the price is reacting around these Fibonacci levels. So if you're not using these tools to their best, abilities, got them loaded, you're definitely at a disadvantage, because not many people are going to be seeing these levels on their trading charts. So jump on the website. It's only $21 a week at this stage for all of these tools. So we've got, you've got a whole lot of indicators, some of which we've used on this call. We haven't even looked at most of them. And obviously we've got the strategies. We looked at the analytical bar strategy 1. We've got the 2. We've got the wick trader strategies. There's quite a few other ones that we have too. And go from there. Okay, good. I will leave the session there. Thank you guys for being on the call. And we will do the same thing tomorrow. So from 9 a.m. tomorrow, we'll do the same thing.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay, guys. Cheers then.
Thanks, man.
Okay, bye-bye.
Cheers.